only cosmetic, yeah.
All right, mate, we'll look forward to the rest of the race.
Thanks, mate.
Out of all this, the way the leaderboard looks at the moment, but it's a bit unreliable because people are still cycling in and out of the pits. But you got Murphy, Tander, Lowndes, Radisich, Ellery, Brad Jones up to 6th. Marcus Marshall now in the 16 car. Look at this.
This is the car that was involved in the Bargwana contact, spun off into the tyre wall.
He copped a tap on the side from the Orcon car, then he found the front of the wall, and the rear also hit when it spun around as well. David Brabham only been in the car just a couple of laps.
I'll tell you what, he'll be grateful that tyre wall was there too, because if that was just exposed concrete, that thing would be a write-off. Look at the damage to the driver's mirror there. Shell team will crawl over it and make sure everything is basically sound.
Brabham's been doing so well this year in the American Le Mans Series.
90 degrees. The steering is at 90 degrees.
It's David on the radio. So it's got huge bent steering arm problem. He did a brilliant job this year at Le Mans driving for Bentley. He said that car was just awesome. He's had a great season driving for ProDrive in the Ferrari in the US. He's heading back to the US on Monday.
Try and have another look at that incident at real-time speed.
That's McPhillamy. This is the run to Skyline. Bargs tries to go up the inside, doesn't get anywhere near close enough. Oh, dear.
Now look at Brabham. Look at this. Into the tyre wall. If that didn't have any tyres there, man.
What's that, 200 across there?
220 approach.
Start to back down before you head towards the S's, and keep your eyes on Warren Luff, who goes digging around in the dirt to avoid it all.
I think Jason must have thought that David was going to leave room down the inside and tried to stick it down there, but he didn't get far enough up as David Brabham came across. Contact, big disaster.
David, we don't have a left rear on here yet. Why is that?
Oh.
Well, they're trying to answer questions in pit lane as everything starts to unfold. This is the Bob J T-Marts 1000. Lights are out of the safety car, so soon we'll be underway again in the Bob Jane T-Marts 1000. We've had 2 full course yellows in the space of 17 laps. It's about another 140 odd to go. It could be a long day. Just a reminder too, if there's a lot to talk about already in this race, there'll be plenty to talk about in the final episode of V8 Superstars from the Telstra Dome in Melbourne, November 21. That is the ticket information, 0386257444. Lines are open from 10 to 4. I reckon after this weekend, Billy, the aggro around here would be more like the Jerry Springer show, won't it?
I'm looking forward to that.
Need some more security guards. So the Audi safety car is on the track. I just think the first hour of this race hasn't officially ticked over yet. We're only 4 minutes away from it. Can you believe what's transpired on the mountain already? I guess when you've watched these races for 40 years, you would understand that the answer to that question is yes, you can believe anything at Bathurst. Restart number 2 for the great race. Greg Murphy, Garth Tander, Craig Lowndes. Then it's Radisich, Stephen Ellery, then car 21, and their sister car 888.
It'll be interesting to see these lead cars that haven't made any stops for fuel yet. Murphy, Tander, Lowndes. They're going to get to run a full green period and try and keep an eye on the amount of fuel that they're using.
You've got to go all the way down to Jimmy Richards and Tony Longhurst in position 12 to find the first guys who've had a stop.
Car 19, are they getting this one back in action? Doesn't look too good there. Wheel hanging out of the guard, broken shock absorber apparently as a result of that collision. But look at that front suspension, that's not looking too healthy at all. So all sorts of dramas for the FPR Falcon. Field now getting up to full speed, cold tyres. They've had a chance to cool down behind the safety car. Always a treacherous time in these restarts in the Bob Jane T-Marts 1000.
Our PitSmart computer, which calculates where everybody's at in this field, and you can imagine how complex some of the arithmetic is here, shows that in net terms, Jimmy Richards and Marcus Ambrose actually lead the pack, but who knows how this will unfold in the coming laps.
Let's get down to pit lane.
Max Wilson, that was pretty tragic there. Any idea? I mean, you saw it on the screen. What's your take on it?
Oh,
was a really stupid move from the 10 car. I don't know who was driving, even Barguan or Mark Lark. I mean, he tried to overtake David in a place which, there is no way to overtake there, and took both of the race and another 3-4 cars behind it. So it was really a shame because the car was working pretty good, and when they stopped, I think it was running 6th or 7th, and the car was pretty strong. So I think us as a couple of laps, but let's try to make it back.
Team did a pretty good job there. There was a lot of work to be done, and they did it very quickly.
Oh, the guys did a great job. They are really pumped up to put the car back on track, and they did a great job, and pretty pleased about it.
It's a long day. All the best for the rest of it.
Thank you.
Rick, you weren't directly involved in that incident, but give us a bit of a bird's eye view from you when you followed in.
Yeah, I came over Skyline. The flags came out just as I got there, but the track was blocked. I had nowhere to go. I nearly stopped, but there was sand all over the track from the incident, and it just wouldn't pull up in time. So we've got a fair bit of damage. They're replacing the radiator and so forth on the car now, and hopefully we'll get back out there, but obviously a lot of time lost.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
4 cars involved in that one, 4 involved at the top of the mountain, and the stewards have deemed that car number 10, Jason Barguana, deserves a penalty. He's been shown the black flag, and the Orcon Falcon will have to go through pit lane at 40 kilometres an hour. Back to the race we go, on board with Stone Brothers racer and Russell Ingall.
Showing in 13th in the lap scoring, but in terms of corrected positions where they are in their sequencing, we reckon that they're second on the road at the moment. And there's a very healthy battle going on for 4th, 5th and 6th at the moment between Radisich, Ellery, Jones and Cleland in the 888 car. This is where the incident happened before, and it was to the right where Barguana tried to squeeze through, and this is where the cars ended up in the wall, blocking the track temporarily on the run to the dipper.
Bit of dirt, as you'd expect, left on the left-hand side of the track. Russell Ingall, a 2-time winner here, and also 2-time runner-up, including last year. Inside, car number 11, Stephen Richards, has a crack at his former teammate.
Something hanging off the SBR car. It looked like something flapping down the right-hand side there.
Well, Russell's a bit of a man on a mission. He felt awful about that situation in the Sandown 500, very competitively placed when they put him back into the race.
So there's a bit of foam or a bit of tape that seals around the bonnet that's come unstuck there.
And this weekend he really wants to redeem himself with a win.
They just don't have great pace this weekend, do they? Which is very uncharacteristic for this team and car.
It's uncharacteristic, and it's been so consistent, hasn't it? Throughout the 4 days, they've never really cracked it for maximum pace.
It's got a little fold in the bonnet, I noticed there as well, so they've actually made contact with somebody.
On the road, this is position number 4 for Paul Radisich, then Ellery in 5th. The Aussie Mail car, Bradley Jones in 6th on the road. John Cleland behind the wheel of 888, that's 7th.
Let me hit you with a spooky fact. We're lap 20 of 161, and it's been like a couple of serious rounds already, hasn't it? 141 laps to go.
Here's the drive-through penalty for Jason Barguana as a result of that incident on top of the mountain. I guess inside the car, Neil, this seems like 1 hour.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to come to terms with when you've been zapping around here at just under 300 kilometres an hour. 40 seems like running speed.
Well, there's all sorts of strategies being played out there, up and down pit lane. Let's see if we can tap into one of them. Kim Jones is with Greg Rust.
Well, Mark, they've been crunching the numbers during that safety car period, and you think that has really helped your fuel burn and strategy. Just tell us how.
It's actually Kim. I know the master bit. Oh, sorry, Kim, but call me what you want. Yeah, look, we've done our homework. We've got a plan today, and we're sticking to that plan. The only thing that didn't work was we got turned around early, but we're running 6th and 7th, and everything's going well, and we'll see what happens.
Is it feasible that you could get through without needing a splash at the end?
Lucky you can't see me smiling behind me.
That might answer the question, boys.
Thank you. Hi to everybody.
Yeah, Kim Jones' diary for the day: win Bathurst, rob a bank.
He doesn't always wear his underpants on his head, only on special occasions.
On party days. The reason he's dressed like that is that he's actually refueling the car. So he said to me yesterday that Bradley was in there and stalled the car at one stage and just about set fire to him. So there was a little family tiff. This is the leaderboard.
PlayStation 2 race score. It's hard to believe that this race is only an hour old. Greg Murphy is our race leader at the moment. On your home of motorsport and right around the world, you're watching the Bob Jane T-Marts 1000. Meanwhile, the race continues on the road. This is positions 2 and 3. But I can tell you, back in 19th on the road, this man in the last lap has posted the fastest time of the day at 2:09.566. So on the road, he's in 19th position, but our corrected race score predicts him to be just outside the top 10.
That's a new lap record by the tiniest whisker. Brad's was a 1:09.5705 from last year. How amazing is that?
100th, 1,000th, about in it.
Remember that these cars have not yet stopped. Murphy, Tander, Lowndes, Ellery, Radisich, Jones, Cleland, Baird, McConville. None of those guys have stopped. That's your top 9. The first of the stoppers is Jimmy Richards, who's 10th, and the Pit Smart computer shows him leading. This is the order on the racetrack at the moment, however. There they are. Pressure on at the moment from Lowndes. By the way, Formula One fans, we've got the final round of the World Formula One Championship from Suzuka this afternoon. I can tell you that Rubens Barrichello for Ferrari has pole from Montoya. Cristiano De Marta third from Olivier Panis. The fast men from Friday, Ralph Schumacher and Jarno Trulli, will start 19th and 20th. Qualifying yesterday was interrupted by wet weather. Michael Schumacher is down in 14th, and his championship rival, Kimi Raikkonen, is 8th.
Word through the car 15 is going to rejoin this race. Cameron McLean caught up in that tangle on the first turn. Here we are on board with Stephen Ellery as he takes aim at Paul Radisich up Mountain Straight. And Stephen Ellery will go from 5th to 4th in this move if he can pull it off.
Buffeting on the front of the car there. And he sneaks up the inside, uses the draft. Plenty of horsepower from the Craig Haystead V8. That moves him up another position. Very competitively placed at the moment, the Super Cheap Autos team. And they've certainly got the credentials on their side in 2003. Podium finish at the Sandown 500 4 weeks ago. Looking very strong on the mountain as well.
Ellery's been on the podium here before in 96, third with Tony Longhurst. Last year, Luke Youlden and Ellery teamed up to go inside the top 10 as we go down Conrod Straight. We're looking at the back of Garth Tander's car. Getting a focus on Craig Lowndes, BA Cat Ford. Behind them, Ellery in 4th position. In 12th position on the road is Russell Ingall. We predict him to be 3rd, maybe 4th. And his teammate, I understand, joins us. Marcus Ambrose in pit lane. You got us, Marcus?
G'day, Matty.
Were you a nervous man this morning? Because you normally start here.
It's actually a lot nicer not to start the car, can you believe? The pressure of the start, especially in a place like Bathurst, is pretty intense. So, yeah, when the idea came to really put Russell in the car, I said, yeah, that's a great idea, fantastic, let's do that.
Not a bad plan. Marcus, it's Mark. How's the setup on the car? You comfortable with it now?
Yeah, I've got to be brutally honest with you. We're not as quick as we want to be right now. We've got some changes we can make during the race. You know, we're struggling for, I think, maybe about 3 or 4 tenths a lap. And Scapey right now, he had that problem with passing traffic, and he's doing pretty quick times right now. We can't match that, so yeah, we're just working out our strategy now. We're working it out on the run, to be honest. You know, we're not going to stick with our plan that we started the day with. We're just going to try and make a few modifications, see what happens.
You guys tested at the end of last month. Have you found anything out in between Sandown and here?
Well, it's definitely been a very competitive weekend this weekend. It's been a lot faster than what I predicted in the whole team. We paid the price for being too aggressive on car setup last year, so we came with a relatively conservative setup here, and we've been caught a bit napping, I think.
Have any of the difficulties you've been having with the chassis, Marcus, related to the fact that you and Russell have quite distinctly different driving styles?
Yeah, I think some of that has shown this weekend. It's the first weekend that we've really had separate comments on the car, and being an endurance format, you know, we've really had to try and share it as much as we can.